Debate.
For Brampton South.
Mr. Speaker, I'm pleased to rise today to speak about C-26. I firstly want to thank all colleagues who have stepped in to speak on this issue. In my speech, I intend to discuss how this bill is focused on the long term. I would like to start by simply reminding the House of the stark difference in our approach. The previous government spent a decade seeing the provinces as hurdles or opponents. Negotiation was done one by one, negotiation through division. Our approach is different, collaborative. Our Prime Minister and the Cabinet in our government have been working with the provinces as partners. Earlier this year, Canada's finance ministers reached an historic agreement to make meaningful changes to the CPP. That is what a collaborative approach looks like. First and foremost, we believe every Canadian deserves a secure and dignified retirement after a lifetime of hard work. Today, middle-class Canadians are working harder than ever, but many are worried. They are worried that they will not put away enough money for their retirement. I think about my 3 kids in their early 20s. They are all in school. They are hardworking and brilliant people. They did their homework. They got good grades. They got into post-secondary with few challenges because of their work ethic and thirst for knowledge. Even so, many of their generation and friends of theirs are in the tough place. They are not saving now because they have to think about paying down their student debt, paying for their car repair, or saving for their first home. Let alone the cost of wedding these days. There are a lot of big expenses.
Excuse me, on a point of order, yes?
Speaker,
Member for
Calgary Signal Hill. Mr. Speaker, I believe we're on Bill C-29, not 26. The member speaking on a previous bill that was before this House.
Well, thank you for bringing that up. Often what happens in the House, members bring up different areas and make a roundabout way back to the topic at hand. So I will allow for the honourable member to keep going. She's only 8 minutes. She has 8 minutes left in her speech. I think it's appropriate that she be given a chance to show how she's going to relate it back to the topic at hand. Thank you.
Let alone the cost of wedding these days. There are a lot of big expenses looming in the face of young people these days. I'm proud of the work our government has done to help kids with the repayment of students' loans. That makes a real difference for students once they graduate. However, there is still significant work to be done to get young people saving for the future. It needs to be a part of the system. They need to have that money start going into reliable, secure place where it will be there for them once they need it. Financial experts have been saying for years how financial literacy is so important for young people. I would also like to commend the Ontario government for making financial literacy a part of the high school curriculum, as well as congratulate the Ontario Young Liberals on their work to put that forward. Each year, fewer and fewer Canadians have workplace pension to fall back on. The private sector needs to do their part to support a strong pension system as well. Senior receiving CPP put that money back into the economy and into the brands and businesses in the communities. We all must do our part, public and private, to make Canada a prosperous place for everyone. Make meaningful changes to the CPP that will allow Canadians to retire with more money in their pockets. We have been talking about the baby boomers and the generational shift underway for decades. We always knew this massive portion of the population would retire, and we knew that we would have to take action to make the system sustainable for them and their children too. This bill addresses those on their way to retirement by doing more to ensure they have dignity, security, and stability. The more than 1/4 of Canadians' families nearing retirement, 1.1 million families who are facing a drop in their standard of living will be able to retire in dignity as a result of this enhancement. The revisions in C-26 are designed to help Canadians in every step of their lives, our grandparents, parents, and children. The deal will boost how much each Canadian will get from their pension from 1/4 of their earning now and fully 1/3 to make sure these changes are affordable. We'll phase them in slowly over 7 years from 2019 to 2025 so that the impact is small and gradual. When I was going door to door in Brampton South in the last election, I met many seniors. I met seniors who were concerned about themselves and more concerned for their family's future. They wanted to know if their grandchild would have the chance to go through life with the same security that was there for them. That is why this bill is important to me. When we talk about evidence-based and long-term growth, I think of the effects for Canadians tomorrow and the 5 years from now. In both these scenarios, Canadians will be better off. At the core of our plan has been investment. Investment in the future is what past generations did when they built transport corridors that move countless goods and people every day. Investment in the future is what donors of universities and colleagues have done for decades. It is about giving back so others can follow. Investment in the future is what our government did in the post-war years after World War II in building up a system that is invented around the world. In Brampton, while most of my constituents were born in Canada, there are those of us who were not. And we came to Canada with our eyes on the system of compassion and mutual support. That is why investing in the Canada Pension Plan matters today more than ever. And we cannot wait, as some of my colleagues across the aisle might suggest. In past generations had thought to wait and save their pennies instead of investing them in the Canada around us today. We would be less well off. Every Canadian deserves a secure and dignified retirement after a lifetime of hard work. Through this enhancement, we have taken a powerful step to help make that happen. This investment is in people of Canada and the public system that makes us more equal and more united. That is why I'll be voting for C-26, and I encourage all my colleagues from all parties to do so as well. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Questions and comments? The honourable member for Calgary.